Good afternoon, all the learners. It's Tuesday, the 28th of April. And yes, you know what time it is? It is English First Additional Language. Yes, you have changed the times. So from now on, English Grade 8 First Additional Language will not be at 1 p.m., but it will be an hour earlier. So it will be at 12 p.m. I hope everybody is good and that you have had a wonderful long weekend of some sort. So yes, let's continue with our lessons. Welcome everybody, welcome. Remember, if you have questions, comments about what I will be doing, about what will be relevant today, you are welcome to use the chat feature to ask your questions and I will attend to them. All right, let's get started. So I'm greeting everybody, 27 of our participants. If you can hear me, please write hi, please write yes. I would like to see your greetings. Please greet me back to show that you are here with me, that we are here together. Hello, hi everybody, hi, hello, thank you, Ishani, Helen, Teza, Azania, Hayden, Matt, Unati, Lizzie. Yes, everybody, hello to you too as well. I'm so happy, I missed you guys. So let's continue with today's lesson. That is my name, Jacob Yang. This is grade 8 English First Additional Language. I hope you are Today's lesson will be about finite verbs. Let's continue. Remember to use the chat if you have questions and clarifications. Yes, in the previous My apologies for the technical problems I'm experiencing at the moment. Let's continue with the lesson. So yes, we all know what a verb is. It's a doing word. It's a word which shows an action. So auxiliary verb. An auxiliary verb is a special kind of a verb that adds number and a tense to the action verb, and it helps to make it finite. So the auxiliary verb always comes before the verb in a sentence. Right? That's something that which is important for us to remember, that the auxiliary verb always comes before the verb in a sentence. And I've given two examples there. The first example, I am teaching this lesson. I've underlined am and put it in italics. So that am is the auxiliary verb in this first sentence. And you can see that it comes before the verb teaching. All right, you all understand that? The second one, she will be watching the TV. So you can see that will be is our auxiliary verb, and it comes before watching. Watching, which is a verb in this sentence. Let's move on. So some common auxiliary verbs here they are is am, are, be, is, was, were, can, could, may, might, must, has, had, have, shall, should, will, and would. So those are the common auxiliary verbs. I am sure that you have came across them all one time or another. Yes, so those are our auxiliary verbs. That is the verbs that which we use to help us to regulate the sentences. So those are the common auxiliary verbs that which we use. Let's continue with our lesson. So those are our auxiliary verbs. Another thing they do is that auxiliary verbs help to regulate the sentences. They help to regulate the tenses of a sentence. So if you could see, okay, let's take am as an example. We say I am watching TV. You realize that am, it will really show you the tense of that sentence. So am usually shows us that the sentence where am is used is a present tense, right? Yes. The same with are, you are watching TV. It shows that the action is a present tense, so on and so forth. Yes. So all these auxiliary verbs they help to regulate the tense of a sentence. By these auxiliary verbs, they'll help you to identify whether a sentence is in the present tense or the past tense or the future tense. Let's move on. Still on auxiliary verbs. In a sentence, the auxiliary verb becomes a complete verb in addition to the action verb, right? If you don't understand that, let's look at my example. It will help to bring this point home. So the first example, I am teaching this lesson. Okay, somebody's asking me to go back. Okay, let's go back a bit to auxiliary verbs, the list of them. So those are the auxiliary verbs, guys. They help to regulate the tense of our sentence, you know. So yes, you will realize that these auxiliary verbs help to regulate the tense of our sentence. So those are the auxiliary verbs. I was asked to go back and I did. I'm sorry guys, I'm experiencing serious technical problems today. I hope it don't happen again and we can continue our lesson, and that is going to be smooth from now on. So let's continue guys. Yes, we're still on auxiliary verbs. I said that in a sentence, the auxiliary verb becomes a complete verb in addition to the action verb, right? For example, I said, I am teaching this lesson, right? So I've underlined am teaching, which means that am teaching, it is the finite verbs of this sentence, right? So the am is our auxiliary verb, teaching is our action verb. So if you combine them, this becomes our finite verb. So I am teaching this lesson, it becomes a complete sentence. So this becomes so then this becomes a complete sentence, and you can see the subject, the verb, and the object, but we are not there today. But yes, we are on auxiliary verbs, remember, finite verbs. So this is what it's all about. Second example, she will be watching the TV. So will be watching, you will see that we have will and be as our auxiliary verbs, which help our action verb watching to communicate the message. And we can also see the tense that she will be watching TV. It means that it's gonna be a future continuous tense. We're gonna go through that later on as we go. Okay, somebody's asking me to slow down. So these, remember, we are on finite verbs, but before we go in detail about finite verbs, we need to understand an auxiliary verb first, right? That an auxiliary verb, it helps, we can say it helps the verb to really communicate fully. And an auxiliary verb also helps us to identify the tense of a sentence, right? I did say that it helps us to identify whether our sentence is the present, past, or future tense. Are we all together now? So that is what it's all about. So those two examples that which I gave them to show you how an auxiliary verb becomes a complete verb when we add it with the action verb. So the ones that which I've underlined and wrote in italics, that is a complete verb, and that complete verb is made up of an auxiliary verb and an action verb. So in my first example, it is made up of am, which is an auxiliary verb, as well as teaching, which is an action verb. So in the second example, our complete verb will be watching is made up of will be, which is an auxiliary verb, and watching, which is an action verb. Okay, let's move on. Now that you have dealt with auxiliary verb, we can then start to deal with finite verbs and understand what they are and how they work. So finite verbs, for a sentence to be complete, it has to have a finite verb. Let's go back to our examples to see if this is true. So in our first example, we said, I am teaching this lesson. Is that a complete sentence? Yes, it is a complete sentence. There is no question about it. I am teaching this lesson. There is nothing there is nothing ambiguous about that, you know. That is as complete as a sentence can get. So even the second example, she will be watching the TV. That is that is a complete sentence. We know that she will be watching TV, you know. Yeah, we may not care which program or which channel or at what time, but we know that in the future she will be watching the TV. All right, let's continue now. So yes, I did say that a finite verb. So for a sentence to be complete, it has to have a finite verb. All right, and the finite verb has a subject. Right, so a subject is the one which performs the action, and the tense, you know, whether it's the present tense, the past tense, or the future tense. Right, so let us go back to our example to demonstrate this. Okay, no, I will use this new example. Okay, so I am teaching this lesson. So from here, I will act as my subject. Am teaching is my finite verb, and lesson is my object. All right, so we'll do that in another lesson. But okay, that's something that which we need to bear in mind for today's lesson to understand it, to bring it home. So the finite verb has a subject and a tense. Okay, finite verbs help us to be specific about the time of an action, the manner of which the action is taken, as well as who was involved in the action. That seems to be a lot. Let me go through that again. A finite verb helps us to be specific about the time of an action, the manner of which the action was taken, as well as who was involved in the action. Right, here is my example there. My example is the boy ran. All right, so let's look at that example. So the verb here is ran, right? So the verb ran is finite. Why? Because it has the subject which is boy, and a tense which is the past tense. So this past tense we see it with the word ran because ran is the past tense of the word run. So this the verb ran is finite because it has the subject boy and a tense past tense. So the next example, the baby walks. So fin the verb walks is finite. Uh, okay, is finite. The verb walks is finite because it has a subject. So in this case, the subject is baby and a tense, which is the present tense. A tense here will be walk. A tense is the present tense demonstrated by the word walks, right? So remember, if you are having concerns, questions about what I'm doing, please use the chat and I will get back to you and I will help you. Remember, I am here for you. That is the only reason why I'm here, to help you with your schoolwork. So let's continue on finite verbs. Sometimes in a sentence, the finite verb can be an auxiliary verb. Something, something to bear in mind. Sometimes in a sentence, the finite verb can be an auxiliary verb, right? Such as am, are, were, was, as well as those other auxiliary verbs that which I have opened in the previous slide. You remember? Yes. So for example, I am intelligent. So I've underlined am because am here is an auxiliary verb and it is our finite verb in this case, right? Why? Because I is a pronoun, am is our auxiliary verb, intelligent is our adjective. So our sentence is made up of a pronoun, an auxiliary verb, and an adjective. So because of that, our auxiliary verb then becomes our finite verb in this example. So what does this mean? This means that I am existing in the state of being intelligent, right? So in my example, I'm intelligent. It means that I am existing in the state of being intelligent. Therefore, am is a verb and am is a finite verb, right? Because I've explained that it has the subject I and it has a tense, which is in the present tense. Remember, I am intelligent. All right. So one thing to remember is that finite verbs have a subject, a tense, and they can be singular or plural. Is that true? Let me go back to my example. I am intelligent. So finite verbs have a subject. What is the subject in my example? The subject is I. What is the tense? The tense here is present. It's in the present tense. Why? You can see it because of the auxiliary am. And is it singular or plural? We can see it is singular because I am talking about myself as I am. Me, myself, and I as I am. So it's singular. Remember, if you have questions, you are welcome to use our chat and I will read your question and I will answer to it as soon as I see it. As soon as I receive a question, I will go through it. So these are finite verbs. I hope you're all together. Let us continue. So the finite verb, there are three things that the finite verb really gives us. The first thing is that a finite verb gives us a tense. The second thing is a person. And the third thing is a number. All right, so let's go through them in detail. The first thing I said that the finite verb gives us a tense. All right, so from a finite verb, you can see that it gives us a tense. So what tenses do we have? So we have the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. Okay, somebody's asking me to go back. Um, okay, we will go back. We will go back. So anyway, what I'm going through now is what I went through in the past slide. Remember, in the past slide, I said that a finite verb has a subject, has a tense, and it also shows us singularity or, okay, they say I'm too fast. Okay, let us go back to the previous slide. This is where I was. I did say that we know that I've already said that a finite verb consists of an auxiliary verb and an action verb, right? But sometimes it happens in some cases that if a finite verb can be our auxiliary verb, right? And remember our auxiliary verbs. Let me go back to that list of auxiliary verbs. Here is the list of auxiliary verbs, all right? So remember, guys, this will be available on YouTube after this lesson. So if there's something you missed, you can watch it on YouTube. You can download YouTube Go so that you can download this lesson and you can watch it offline as much as you may need to watch it. So yes, these are auxiliary verbs. Yeah, you can note them down. If you can't, please you can go to YouTube and watch them. So this is where I was, that sometimes an auxiliary verb becomes our finite verb. Like I demonstrated in our example, I am intelligent. You can see there that the word I is a pronoun, the word am is an auxiliary verb, the word intelligent is an adjective. So we don't have an action verb there. The only verb we have is an auxiliary verb in this example. In this example, therefore, what that means is that our auxiliary verb am will become our finite verb, right? Yes. So remember, another thing, okay, there is a list of auxiliary verbs. It will be a good thing to take a screenshot of it, because to write them down could really take you time, and I may really go to the next slide before you're even done. So please take a screenshot. It will really be helpful. Make the best use of the technology that which you have. Yes, you know, that smartphone, like take advantage of it and use it to the best of its ability, like get your money's worth. Yes, thank you. So yes, this is where I was, that sometimes a finite verb can be an auxiliary verb. I think I can pass. Seems like everybody of us, we understand this part, and I can continue with the lesson before we run out of time. Remember, if you have questions or something you want me to clarify, please use the chat feature and I will attend to your query. I will attend to your question. Yep. So yes, one thing to remember, finite verbs have a subject, a tense, and can be singular or plural. Right? Let's go deeper into that statement in the next slide so you can understand it better what it means. So the finite verb, it gives us three things. Number one, a tense. Number two, a person. Number three, a number. All right. So number one, the finite verb gives us a tense. So the finite verb, it gives us a tense. It tells us whether a tense is it present tense, past tense, or future tense. Let's go to my examples I've given. Let's go to the examples I've given. For example, I sing. I sing is in the present tense, right? Second example, I sang. That is in the past tense. The simple past tense, that's something we are gonna go through in the next lesson. I will sing. That is in the future tense, right? So you can see in the first example, I sing. Sing is my finite verb, and it shows me that the subject I is in the present tense, right? I sang. Sang is the past tense of the word sing, so it shows it's in the past tense. I will sing. You realize that sing is still in the present tense, but because of the auxiliary verb will, it tells us that this is in the future tense, right? Because of the auxiliary verb will, right? I hope you're all the same on that one. Let's go to the second one. I said that the finite verb also gives us a person, right? Whether it is the first person, the second person, or the third person. Example, I sing. What does it show? I sing, it shows us that I am speaking in the first person. That is, I am talking about myself. Then we continue. The second one, you sing. That is in the second person. So you sing. All right, right. So the third example, she sings. That is in the third person, right? So that is given to us by the word she. and also by the S, by the letter S, which is added to the word sing, right? So yes, we will go through that in tomorrow's lesson, where we'll be going through simple past tense and simple present tense. You will understand more about these, and you understand why in the first and the second person there is no S at the end for sing, right? You all understand it. You all understand, right? Let's go on. The third one, I said that a finite verb gives a number, whether something is in whether it's singular or plural. For example, I sing. I sing. No, there is no thing as the fourth person. It's only first, second, or third person. Remember that in English or in any language, but now we are focused on English, there's only the first person, the second person, or the third person. That is all there is to it. Okay. So okay, let's go. I did say a finite verb gives us a number, whether it's singular or plural. So I sing is singular. I sing is singular. Why? Because of the pronoun I, which is a singular pronoun. Then we sing is a plural because of the word we, which is a plural pronoun. Right? Okay, seems I have a question there. They say, do they count as does they count as that person? Remember, for yes, does it also count for a third person? Re- for a third person, there is an s at the end for a simple present tense. So I will go through that tomorrow. In tomorrow, I will go through that in detail because we'll be going through simple and past tense, and you will see how these things work. Okay, another question. Why must the first, second person be sing and not sings? Yes, John, that is something I will go through tomorrow. Remember, you sing, it is you sing, it is you sing, it is in the simple present tense, right? So there is no S at the end there, right? And I'm gonna explain that better and clearly in tomorrow's lesson when I will be dealing with and the simple present tense and the simple past tense. Okay, thank you for your question. It is a very wonderful question. So yes, that is what we'll be going through tomorrow. So please join us in tomorrow's lesson and get a better understanding of why in the second person and the first person is you is sing, but in the third person is sings. All right. Okay. Thank you. Um, Remember, guys, I said that the lesson time has changed. It's no longer 1 p.m. The lesson will start at 12 p.m., right? So, yes, same time, same time. All right. So, this is the end of our lesson. Let me summarize it. And in today's lesson, we have a homework I'm going to show you in a moment. So yes, there is a third person, Azania, like we have demonstrated here that a finite verb gives us these, So remember, like a person, they are defined in first, second, or third, So this is something I went through in last week's lessons on pronouns, but I will introduce it again tomorrow when we go through the simple and when you go through the simple present tense and the simple past tense so that you can see how they all go together. So please join us so that you can understand this better. I really need you guys to know this, to understand this, so that when you communicate out there, when you write or when you speak, you will speak clearly, good, well-rounded language, good, well-rounded English language. So the summary, today we went through auxiliary verbs that they help us to regulate the tenses of sentences. And we also said that an auxiliary verb is a special kind of a verb which adds the number and the tense to the action verb, right? To help to make it finite. And we also said that finite verbs have a subject a tense, and they can be singular or plural. Remember, you can get this lesson on YouTube. So now let's go through the homework to help you to. So yes, you can go to YouTube for this lesson, or I hope you have been taking screenshots of every slide, right? And you can also take the screenshot of the homework as well. So here is the homework. So this homework really is to test you to test yourself if you understood today's lesson, to see if maybe there are any problem areas that which you might have encountered in today's lesson. And yes, you can do this homework, you know, you can do this homework with yourself. You can please do it with your friends, with your peers. You can make a group on WhatsApp and discuss it. You can get your parents to help you, your siblings to help you. Remember, guys, all of us, we are all at home. So there is that person who can really help us, you know. So yes, so if it happens that maybe you were experiencing some problems, you can go to the first slide. I left my Twitter handle there. And not only that, even tomorrow, in tomorrow's lesson, you can use the chat feature to post the questions, and I'll be happy to help you before we move on to tomorrow's lesson. So yes, here's today's homework. So the instruction is add appropriate auxiliary verbs to the verbs in the following sentences to create finite verbs. All right? Yes. So the first one is we eating dinner. You know that really doesn't sound complete. There is something short in this. There is something short. There is an auxiliary verb that which needs to be added there, and you will figure out where you need to edit, because in this homework I really didn't leave any spaces to show you where you fill the auxiliary verb. You yourself will have to figure out where does the auxiliary verb fit in the following sentences, so that to create a finite verb, right? So yes, remember I gave you a list of finite verbs. Let me go back for those who didn't take a screenshot. So guys, please get your phones ready to take a screenshot of these auxiliary verbs, because you are going to need them for your homework. So those are the common auxiliary verbs that you're gonna need for your homework. So there they are. Please take a screenshot of them. I'm giving you a moment now to take a screenshot, because you're gonna need them for your homework. All right, five, four, three, two, one. So they are gone. So no, you don't see the answer on the lesson, because I'm only left with less than 5 minutes, which I'm only gonna use to display this homework, so that you can take a screenshot and start to think about the answers, the auxiliary verbs that which you need to add to these sentences. So that is the homework for today from today's lesson. Please do it. It is for your own benefit. It will really help you to consolidate your understanding of today's lesson. Yes, if there need be, then we will do corrections tomorrow in tomorrow's lesson. So in tomorrow's lesson, the first 5 minutes of it, I will devote it to doing the corrections for this homework. Guys, remember this is homework. So if I do corrections now, it will really defeat the purpose of this being homework. So yes, tomorrow, everybody, tomorrow, the first 5 minutes of tomorrow's lesson, we will devote it to doing the corrections of this homework. I will not say the answer on the chat, and please do not say the answers on the chat. Do these homeworks by yourself, do it with your friends, do it with your classmates, do a WhatsApp group, something like that, and collaborate. You will see that if you do it like that, it will become more enjoyable. You're going to enjoy doing homework, and it will also help to consolidate what you were learning today. And you will realize that, this is not something you learn in the classroom and it stays in the classroom. No, This is something that we should learn in the classroom and you take it in your everyday life, you know. And another thing that which will help you is even when you chat on social media, you know, use full proper English. You realize that the more you do that, the more your language becomes better, you know. So yes, so instead of telling your friend we eating dinner, like say it the way you will have to say it, you know. Say it clearly, say it correctly, say it the way you may need to say it, you know. You won't say we eating dinner. No, that sounds like something that somebody who is not good in English will say. But you guys, you are learning English, so you are learning English, and in your learning, you should practice what you are learning. You know, use what you've already learned so far. The more you use what you're already learning, it starts your knowledge starts to build. Your language is building up, and before you know it, you will be speaking English like it's your mother tongue. You will be fluent in English like you are fluent in all the other languages, and that will help you in life. That will help you in real life. That will help you in your written texts. You know, in spoken communications, in everything, you know. So anyway, that, my friends, my learners, is the end of today's lesson. Please do the homework and we'll go through the corrections tomorrow. And just in case you are wondering what is tomorrow, what will tomorrow be all about? Tomorrow will be about sentence level work. We'll be going through simple present tense, simple past tense, emotive language, manipulative language, and more. You don't want to miss tomorrow's lesson, guys. You don't want to miss it. We will be here. And remember to connect with us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember to use the hashtag LockdownESchool and the hashtag Sasol Foundation. So yes, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Africa Teen Geeks. Follow us, AI Zora. Follow them. Follow the Department of Basic Education, as well as Sasol SA. So from me and everybody from STEM Lockdown Digital Schools, we love you and we wish you all the best. You have a wonderful day. Please do your homework, attend other lessons, have fun. Good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Goodbye. Take care. Bye bye.